All right, y'all. I'm back again. This is blog number, I really don't know, five, maybe four. I don't know. Anyway, uh, I had something a little different I want to talk about today. And I said in my second blog that I would never be negative, and I still won't. But there is something I would like to discuss a little bit and maybe get y'all's opinion on it. I was at a tournament a couple weeks ago, and there were 7-year-old black belts running all over the place. And I was really kind of taken back. Like I know a lot of schools give out kid black belts, but I was surprised at the number of kid black belts. And what inspired this blog was it was a 10-year-old girl. I'm guessing maybe she was 11, maybe she was 9. I don't know, walking around with a fourth degree black belt. In Taekwondo, at fourth degree, you're considered a master. So there was a 10-year-old Taekwondo master walking around. I've been doing Taekwondo for over 30 years now. You know what my rank is? Fourth dan. In part because I just don't really care for tests. I feel like I can put as many stripes out on my belt as I want, and I'm not going to be any better. So to me, it's kind of pointless. I've been a fourth dan for 15 years. Like I could have tested several times by now. It's just not really an interest of mine. Anyway, so what I think is really necessary if you're a school owner is set some kind of limitation on on the age limit that you're going to give a black belt. You can't tell me a 7-year-old even understands the meaning of having a black belt. There's a lot more martial arts than punching and kicking. And a lot of these kids weren't that great at that. You should know your history. You should understand the philosophy. You should understand, what it is to be a black belt. It's not like any other sport. So I think maybe even if you just say, 10 years old, that's our limit. Maybe that's a little young, but at least you have some kind of criteria. I mean, these kids are getting black belts left and right. I swear that they're signing up, and a year later, the instructor gives them a black belt. The only validation I can give these guys, when I was in Korea, I went to a Taekwondo school, and almost every kid there was a black belt. And I asked the instructor, he was actually an American guy, of all things. I asked the instructor, I said, how are these kids all black belts? And he said, in Korea, you're expected to get your black belt in 1 year. And people actually get mad if you don't. And I thought that was ludicrous. But so it's not like we're doing something that no one else is doing. I mean, in Korea, obviously, at least at that school, and kind of have heard it since, that's expected. But I feel like you should have some kind of limitation. I heard about 8, 10 years ago. It was actually on the news. I don't know if any of you guys saw this. That a school in New York had given out a 3-year-old black belt. Now, I believe personally that this is a publicity stunt because the story actually, I heard it. I'm in Texas. I heard it down here. So I believe it's a publicity stunt personally. Maybe I just want to think that because I can't imagine somebody giving out a black belt at 3 years old. The kid just got out of diapers, now he gets his black belt. That completely, to me, takes away the meaning and the hard work that we put into this. The same blood, sweat, and tears in a good, legitimate martial arts school, that saying holds water. That's it is blood, sweat, and tears to get your black belt, and it kind of irks me a little bit to see these kids running around with black belts, and then I watch them get into the ring, and I'm expecting, wow, 7 years old black belt, this kid's gonna be cold. Probably 3 out of 5, maybe even 4 out of 5 of them weren't very good at all. I mean, they're 7 years old. How much can you expect? Anyway, so that's really all I want to talk about. I'm kind of curious as to what other people said. Years ago, I was on a forum and I had an argument with some people that didn't understand why I thought there should be a limitation on black belts. And so maybe I'm in the wrong. I don't know. But it just seems to me like there should just be, I don't know, I don't want to say a rule, but maybe organizations should stop and look at the value of their art. If you're giving out black belts at such a young age, you're really, in my opinion, you're taking away some of the value. Like, so if a 7-year-old can get a black belt, then a 20-year-old should be able to walk in there in 6 months get one. Really, if your black belt, in my opinion, is any less than 3 years, and personally, I that's too short to me. In my school, we usually require 5 or more, except for very few instances in which we've had exceptional students. Maybe we'll do it at 4, but that's happened maybe once or twice. We've been in business 18 years and we've given out 15 black belts in those 18 years. So it's a little harder, and maybe my opinion doesn't mean as much because of that, because it is at my school. It's a lot harder to get your black belt than maybe some other schools, but our black belts are phenomenal. Not just they're phenomenal at tournaments, but they're great people and they're great martial artists. I'm big into history. If you watch my blogs, so I expect my guys, when they get their first degree black belt, they have to write a history of that art. We have other arts at the school, so depending on what art it is, but if you get your black belt in Taekwondo, you have to write a history of Taekwondo. At second degree, you have to write what Taekwondo has done for you and a basic philosophy of that art. Because I feel like a black belt isn't just punches and kicks. And if that's how you feel, then, take that. That's the kind of stuff they teach at the YMCA. A legitimate martial arts school, there should be some blood, sweat, and tears. There should be some heartache. There should be some times that, that your students might want to quit. And I know from a business perspective, you don't ever want that, but there should be some times where your students come to class and like, oh my God, they walk out and they're just miserable. They're crawling out the door kind of thing. But that, like I said, that's my opinion. And I'm sure somebody's gonna come on here and argue that point. And if a kid starts at 4, he should have his black belt by 7 or whatever. If a kid starts at 4 in my school, at the very least, he's gonna be in his teens before he gets his black belt. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. I'm really curious as to what other people think, because I think I could be in the minority here, just simply because it seems like that's the common thing to do today. Anyway, so let me know what you think. Hope you enjoy the vlog, and hopefully I'll make another one real soon. Thanks a lot for watching.